This is a CBS7 First Alert Weather Day. Now, an update from the First Alert Weather Center.
We are continuing with the CBS7 First Alert Weather Day for strong winds not only tonight but also in towards tomorrow. We're going to see very strong winds in the forecast with some areas of blowing dust. Right now, kind of the wind going down just a little bit. No travel issues, no visibility problems, it looks like, as we take a look at TxDOT cameras across the Permian Basin right now. The showers and thunderstorms have really whipped off to the east. A big line from Wichita Falls south towards Weatherford and then into the heart of Texas and down into the hill country. San Antonio seeing some thunderstorms within the last hour. We're seeing things clear out behind it and just a couple of clouds out there. Wind gusts today were upwards to 50 miles an hour plus in many locations, even stronger into the mountain areas, gusts above 60 miles an hour over towards Guadalupe Pass a little bit earlier. They've calmed down a little bit and that dust has improved. We're still seeing some gusts upwards of 26 in the Hobbs area, but I think we're going to get a little bit of a break into the overnight hours before things start to crank back up after about 8-9 o'clock in the morning, and cooler air is rolling in behind this front as we are seeing readings currently into the mid to upper 50s across the area. A little cooler down towards Marfa, Van Horn into the upper 40s at the present time. Now, high wind warnings are in effect coming up through 8 o'clock on Saturday. I should say in the morning hours all the way through Sunday, covering the western Permian Basin into southeast New Mexico and into the Trans-Pecos. We're looking at that. And then surrounding that, we have wind advisories in effect until midnight, but they'll be in effect across the Permian Basin coming up for tomorrow. So bigger changes are on the way. Gusts could be above 50 miles an hour and areas of blowing dust. So be sure to secure all loose objects outdoors and be careful driving, especially when you encounter decreased visibility due to blowing dust and dirt.
Thank you, Tom, and thanks for joining us for CBS 7 News on the CW and live on the CBS 7 YouTube. We'll have another weather update for you in just a few minutes, but for now, we're tracking crime. A man from Laredo was sentenced by a Midland jury to 5 years in prison and a $5,000 fine for intoxication manslaughter. According to the Midland County District Attorney's Office, Jesus Castanen fell asleep on I-20 and hit a guardrail, causing the truck's tire to blow out and him to go into oncoming traffic. He and his Jeep head on, killing its 82-year-old driver. His blood alcohol concentration was nearly 2 times the standard for Texas, and he'll be eligible for parole after he serves half of the sentence. And yesterday, we told you about the human trafficking operations that were conducted during the month of January, with 50 arrested. Today, we have a more in-depth look at that operation. These efforts shed a light on the rising issue and concern here in West Texas. Law enforcement emphasizes the victimization of those forced into human trafficking, with human trafficking and sex trafficking being regarded as serious crimes and modern-day slavery.
These people are working against their will many times, and they are the victims. That's what I want to remind the public. Human trafficking, sex trafficking, those are truly the victims here. Human trafficking is a priority of the department every month of the year. Obviously, we highlight certain efforts during the month of January, but our troopers are out on the roadways every day.
Whether involved in sex trafficking or working as a sex worker, both are criminal activities. Yet the underlying reality is that victims often engage against their will. And today we continue to remember the life and legacy of Midland City Councilman at-large Dan Corrales. You're looking now at the candlelight vigil that was held earlier this evening in honor of Corrales at First Baptist Church in Midland. Corrales died earlier this week, and flags in Midland have been lowered to half-staff to mark Corrales' life of service to the Midland community. Tomorrow morning, the Midland Animal Services will be hosting its monthly rescue runners in Dan's honor. And the city of Odessa says the people in the Parksville Ranch area might have low water pressure all day tomorrow. You can see the area circled on this map. The city is working on repairing a water line from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m., but they hope the work is completed within 6 hours. And roads, emergency services, and population growth were topics of conversation in South Ector County tonight. That conversation was led by Ector County staff during a town hall meeting. CBS 7's Hannah Brock was there, and she brings us the details. Hannah.
Well, this is just one stop on a tour of the county's unincorporated communities. It's a chance to find out what citizens care about while educating them about emergency services districts, or ESDs. Ector County Commissioner Billy Hall believes the ESD topic is why most people attended. It's a way to establish consistent emergency services without incorporating.
Because they live so far from town, in order for them to get a response, it's going to take forever for them to get to town, it seems. And so they would like it a little closer to them. Well, if that's what they want, that's what I'm going to want for them. But it's going to be, the majority of the vote. And so however it rolls out, then I will do my best to help mitigate that for them.
An ESD process would begin with 100 signatures on a petition from citizens to get it on the ballot of a normal election. It would require a property tax increase, but if all unincorporated areas joined together, it would generate millions. Fawcett says it would also save people significant money on their home insurance. And Judge Fawcett wants people to get involved.
And then we're looking at having a citizen-led group to really lead this in the same way that you have a citizen-led group lead bond elections for the school district or eventually for the courthouse. We'll have the same thing. We want the citizens to really engage. But my job right now is to provide the information to the citizens to the best of my ability.
Throughout the conversation, citizens agreed that improving emergency response times was important, but how to make that happen was the main consideration. A town hall in Gardendale is next, then Fawcett will visit Goldsmith. From there, more conversations will be based on demand. For CBS7 First Alert News, I'm Hannah Brock.
Thank you, Hannah. Now an update on a story we've been following for you. Odessa College had a ribbon cutting for one of its newest projects for student athletes. The James Segrest Stadium was named after the famous 11-time national champion in track and field back in the 70s. This stadium comes with some upgrades to its track, bleachers on both ends, grandstands on the east and west sides. It also comes with an outdoor fitness area for anyone to use. The new stadium is to honor the late James Segrest and all the accomplishments he brought to Odessa College.
He made his mark at Odessa College many years ago, did a wonderful job for our community and for our college, and we thought it was appropriate to honor him in this way.
The stadium was last upgraded 30 years ago before reinventing it into what it is today. Now it's a state-of-the-art stadium that meets NJCAA and NCAA and UIL competition standards. In your education news now, the Midland Legacy High School Mariachi Band is making history. After earning a perfect score at the UIL Mariachi Festival in El Paso, they've advanced to compete at the UIL State Festival in Seguin this month. CBS7's Armando Gomez spoke with the band director and the musicians about advancing to the festival. Armando?
The band director, Zach Machuca, left the Midland area to start his mariachi career, then later came back to launch a mariachi group. His goal is to build more mariachi programs across Midland ISD. The group is known as the Mariachi Revolucion. The program started with only 6 students and now has over 35 students enrolled. Macheco started the varsity group last fall, and now they are one step closer to making history.
It just really is a testament as to how hard they're willing to work and just how much they enjoy and truly love making music and really the Hispanic culture behind all of this.
The group is aiming to make mariachi music popular across West Texas.
West Texas hasn't had a presence as big in the mariachi world. I come from a long-time mariachi family and mariachi experience, and it's really something that stayed kind of down south.
Macheco teaches his musicians that mariachi is more than just music, it's a cultural experience.
It's special for me because I'm from Mexico, and you grow up listening to all this kind of music, and playing it is really fascinating.
The most important lesson the musicians have learned is how to build their self-confidence.
Mariachi has definitely helped with stage presence and just confidence, overall confidence. Because you're not just singing a song, you're telling a story. And you're trying to communicate that with the crowd.
The group is practicing 5 days a week to prepare for the festival. Their hard work has paid off, and now they fulfill their dream in competing against the other best mariachi groups in the state of Texas.
I've always been mesmerized by the professional groups, and I want to get there one day. And we're not professional yet by any means, but it's another level, and be able to see other high school kids that are also taking that same passion as serious as I am. It's awesome.
The Mariachi Revolucion is scheduled to compete at the State Festival on February 23rd through the 25th. For CBS7 First Alert News, I'm Armando Gomez.
Thank you, Armando. In a couple of months, the Midland and Odessa Chambers of Commerce are going to Washington, D.C., and you can have some input in what they talk about with the nation's elected officials and experts. The Midland Chamber of Commerce and Odessa Chamber of Commerce make a joint trip to Washington, D.C. every 2 years. The first one was in 2022, and they were able to talk with elected officials from Texas and other departments and officials from around the nation. They think it's important to get feedback from the Midland-Odessa communities so they can present a full view of West Texas to those that they meet in the nation's capital. The two chambers will travel to Washington, D.C. on April 29th and return to West Texas on May 2nd. In some state news now, the Texas National Guard is continuing to put up razor wire along the U.S.-Mexico border in Eagle Pass. Governor Greg Abbott maintains that the wire and floating buoy barriers in the Rio Grande deter migrant crossings. But the U.S. Supreme Court ruled federal border agents can remove razor wire at the border. Governor Abbott says that the state of Texas will continue to use the National Guard and Texas DPS to put up barriers at the southern border.
Because Joe Biden is not enforcing the immigration laws that Congress gave to him, he has abandoned his ability to claim the superior right to enforce the laws. And he's empowered Texas. Because of what he's done, Texas faces imminent danger every day.
Governor Abbott says that before the Texas military took over Shelby Park in Eagle Pass, between 2,000 and 4,000 people crossed into that park a day. But yesterday, just 3 people crossed the border there. Now for a look at today's top headlines shown here in real time with real viewers on CBS7.com. You can see all these stories and more by downloading our app or visiting our website at CBS7.com. And still ahead, January marks the 24th month in a row with unemployment below 4%. We have the latest on the nation's job report up next in your consumer news on CBS 7 News at 9. A promising January jobs report came out today, with the U.S. adding 353,000 new jobs, with unemployment holding steady at 3.7%. January marks the 24th month in a row with unemployment below 4%. The report shows that the biggest growth happened in businesses services, with 74,000 new jobs. Healthcare added 70,000, and it's a far cry from this recession some economists were predicting this time last year. White House economic advisor Heather Boushey credits a strong rebound from the pandemic.
This economy really has been the little engine that could. It's been able to deliver month after month, deliver strong wage gains, deliver strong job opportunities, deliver those investment opportunities. I think we'll start to see that reflected in how people are seeing and experiencing the economy.
But inflation is still high. Not every American is feeling the positive effects firsthand. A recent CNN poll found that 48% feel that the economy remains in a downturn. And U.S. state treasurers are telling Americans that they may be among the millions of people who have cash assets waiting to be claimed. According to the National Association of Unclaimed Property Administrators, over 30 million people in the U.S. have unclaimed property. Not only that, but also unclaimed money from inactive bank accounts, unused rebate cards, uncashed paychecks, dividend checks, or life insurance policy payouts. If you'd like to find out if you have unclaimed property, the NAUPA has a state-by-state database.
Well, we are looking at some wind continuing in our forecast. It's going to be rather gusty tomorrow, affecting those outdoor plans. We'll talk about how strong those winds will get, how long all this is going to last, coming up next.
This is a CBS7 First Alert Weather Day. Now, an update from Chief Meteorologist Tom T.
Well, the big story has been the wind continuing a First Alert Weather Day through Saturday for strong winds out of the west to northwest. They could gust up to 50 miles an hour plus. Right now, we're seeing a little bit of a break. Still some pockets of some strong winds up around the Hobbs area. Gusts to 32, gusts to 23 in Andrews at the present time. Other places trying to calm down a little bit out there, but the peak wind gusts today were up there. We were up to 50 miles an hour plus across the Permian Basin. I think the winds were a little stronger in Big Spring than 29 miles an hour, probably up above 40 miles an hour this afternoon, gusts to 47 down in the Trans-Pecos mountain areas, gusts up to 51 on the Marfa Plateau. It's all being caused by this big storm system here that's winding up across the the Rockies there in Colorado. That's going to slowly lift off to the east and southeast here over the next 24 hours, but it's slow movement. It's what's going to keep the wind around in our forecast for another day, even though we've already had that cold front roll through. And then look what's happening on the West Coast. Not a lot. So we're going to get into that latter half of the weekend into the early part of next week and have a mild, quiet streak, it looks like, for the first full week of February coming up. Now, taking a look at across the state of Texas, big line of thunderstorms along a dry line here from around the Wichita Falls area back towards San Antonio into portions of South Texas. Cotulla, wind gusts up to 60 miles an hour within the last hour from a severe thunderstorm, while we're starting to clear out here in West Texas, even cloud free for the most part as this front rolls across. But again, keeping it a little breezy out there, but expecting all this to slowly move off to the south and east. And there's another little spoke here off of this, a little trough low pressure is going to keep that wind stirred up coming up for tomorrow. Here's what we're talking about in the way of winds. Once the sun comes up, things will start to become a little bit gusty by 9:30, gust above 30 miles an hour plus, and then gust up to 50 miles an hour plus, commonplace from the Permian Basin west for tomorrow afternoon. Then once the sun sets, we'll see a lot of it try to calm down, but it's going to stay a little gusty, I think, all the way through into Sunday morning. Watching out for areas of blowing dust and a higher fire danger. High wind warnings go into effect tonight through the early morning hours on Sunday. Western Permian Basin, Trans-Pecos, southeast New Mexico, into the mountain areas and down towards Big Bend. And for the Permian Basin, gusts above 55 miles an hour with wind advisories. This includes Midland and Odessa coming up tonight through Sunday morning. So for the rest of tonight, again, it's going to be a little blustery out there and a little on the chilly side as temperatures will slide down into the lower 40s, and we'll be about 10 degrees cooler tomorrow, about 62 degrees, as we'll have west winds blowing dust, gust above 50 miles an hour. Again, commonplace across the area. We could see damaging winds in those mountain areas. So be sure to secure anything loose outdoors and just be careful driving, especially with the blowing dust we're going to have across the area. Then a mild streak into next week.
NFL fans all over the country are counting down to Super Bowl 58, set to go a week from Sunday in Las Vegas. And there are Chiefs fans and there's 49ers fans, but it's not often that one from each side can be found under the same roof. For this couple, going to extreme lengths to make sure that their house is even more divided, literally. Adam Shope has more on their longtime rivalry.
What are Sundays like in this household?
Insane.
It's kind of a he said, she said type of household.
It's constant craziness.
Debbie, a huge Chiefs fan.
Really became a rabid fan.
Marcelo is all about the Niners.
The 5 Super Bowls.
Whatever.
Both displaying their fandom randomly in the basement till one day
I decided, well, this is going to change.
Marcelo drew a line and split the basement, one half his, one half hers.
He did it on his own. I was at work.
And that's when Debbie knew this rivalry just stepped it up a notch.
From that point on, it was game on.
So on one side, it was everything red and gold.
My Derek Thomas area.
And the other side, gold and red.
Joe Montana's helmet.
It's the definition of one-sided on each side.
He pays half of everything, so it's fair.
And when it comes to trash talk,
And I go upstairs.
We learned over the years not to say much because it doesn't end well for either one of us.
it's a rivalry that at times even comes above ground, like the color of their house. She says it's Chiefs color, and he says it's 49ers color.
I've been trying to find a place where a bunch of 49ers watch the game so I can go and enjoy it.
So this Super Bowl Sunday, the couple deciding to leave the confines of the hostile basement because
When it comes down to push and shove, oh no, we're enemies.
and just go someplace neutral, like Las Vegas, so there's no home field advantage, especially after Super Bowl 54.
We'll see what happens.
And after the game, all rivalries will be forgiven until next year.
The big game is on Sunday, February 11th in Las Vegas, and you can watch that live on CBS7. Plus, stick around after the game for your news, sports, and weather headlines. And still ahead, it's the Caniac combo you never knew you needed. Coming up next, we take a look at the newest partnership by chicken restaurant Raising Cane's. Calling all Caniacs. It's time to bite into the flavor of fashion. Raising Cane's, yes, the chicken restaurant Raising Cane's is partnering with a hair care company. It's not a combination I would really expect. The company's called Teleties, and they are selling Raising Cane's themed hair ties. It's kind of hard to see in these pictures, Tom, but the little spirals are actually decorated with the Cane's logo, and the little charms depicting things have little Cane's container sauces. They're sold in packs of 3 for $9.99.
Something for everybody.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us for CBS 7 News at 9. We'll see you right back here on CBS 7 News at 10.